Okay, now let us start with the question. Everyone has to keep their video on. Okay, now what you have over here, which of the following is not a factor of this? So how to solve this? Which one of them is not a factor? Can anyone tell me verbally how do we solve this question? Any one of you can tell me
We will
verbally.
substitute.
Yeah, we'll
We will
substitute the.
substitute x equal to minus 1, then find it is
Yes,
from
exactly,
0.
exactly. Perfect. So what we have to do, whether it is a factor or not, for that what we have to do, since x plus 1 we have to keep it as 0, then x equals minus 1. Put this x equals minus 1 in this equation. Okay, and if the answer of this becomes 0, then we can say what? It is the factor of this polynomial. Okay, so let's do it. It is very easy one. So what you have to do, the equation is x cube plus 6x square plus 11x plus 6. So we'll put the value of minus 1 in this, minus 1 cube plus 6 into minus 1 square plus 11 into minus 1 plus 6. So what you get? Minus 1 plus 6 minus 11 plus 6. Yeah, minus 1 minus 11 will be minus 12. 6 plus 6 will be plus 12. The answer is coming 0. So what we can say, yes, the first one is only the factor. Now we don't need to check for the rest of them. Yeah, once you get x equals minus 1, you get the polynomial value as 0. We can say x plus 1 is a factor of the polynomial. Now, what is the meaning of this? X plus 1 is a factor of this. What is the meaning of that? Can anyone of you tell?
On dividing with that, you get the remainder as 0.
Perfect, perfect. Very good. Once you divide, means if you do the normal division, that is if you do x plus 1 and if you divide it, right? The polynomial division, that is x cube plus 6x square plus 11x plus 6. On dividing this, what you get, the remainder will be 0. You should also be knowing how to divide the polynomials. I'll give you a revision, short revision, how to do the division of this polynomial division. Okay, if you want to find the remainder. So what you can do, since over here you have x cube and over here you have x plus 1, x into what you will get x cube? You have to multiply with x square. Yeah. So if you x into x square will be x cube, x square into plus 1 will be x square. After this, you have to subtract. This and this will get cancelled. 6x square minus x square is 5x square. We'll write this as it is. Now what you need? 5x square. So what you have to multiply? X into what you will get 5x square? You have to multiply
5.
it with 5x. Yeah, x into 5x into x is how much? 5x square. And 5x into 1 is 5x only. Now if you subtract, this and this gets cancelled. 11x minus 5x is how much? 6x plus 6. Now x into what you will get? 6x plus 6. So 6 into x is how much? 6x. And 6 into 1 you get 6. So if you subtract, you get both the gets cancelled, answer is 0. So therefore the remainder is 0. This is what the cross verification, that x plus 1 is a factor or not. Got it? You can, once you get 0, you can finalize that if you divide you will get the remainder as 0. Yeah. Also if you want to find which of the following, means if you want to find what will be the remainder, then how you will do? If I say which polynomial, which of this, if you divide, the remainder will be 2. How you will solve it? Anyone?
We have to substitute the values in place of x and see
Hmm.
what we.
Yeah, whatever the value you will get, that will be the remainder. Yeah, this will be the type of questions in this it will come. Yeah, now next. Over here, the next question you have x upon a equals y upon b. Then you have to find the value of this. Yeah, now see over here. What you have? X upon a equals y upon b, right? You have this, and you have to find what is the value of ax minus by upon a plus b into x minus y. So what you can do, either you can take what is x equals or either you can take what is y equals in this and put the value. Yeah. So what you can say, if x upon a equals y upon b, what I will do, I can say y equals xb upon a. I can say this. So now whatever value you need, you can put that over here. Means over here, In this, we'll put the value of y as xb upon a. So what you have, ax minus b into y. The value of y is xb upon a upon a plus b as it is. And over here, x minus y again, you can write bx upon a. Fine? Yeah, this is fine. Now after this, over here, ax minus b square x upon a upon a plus b into, in this you can do the cross multiplication, ax minus bx. Yeah. After this will be equal to, you can take a in the LCM. This will be a square x minus b square x upon, this will be a plus b as it is. In this both you can take x as common, so it will be a minus b, and over here a in the denominator. This denominator a and a can be cancelled. Yeah. Over here, in this both you can take x as common. This will be a square minus b square upon, this is a plus b as it is, this x as it is, and this a minus b as it is. Now this x and x can be cancelled. This is a square minus b square, and a plus b into a minus b is again a square minus b square, we know by formula. Then by cancelling it, you get the answer as 1. So therefore the answer for this question is C. Understood? See over here. What is I and J? I hope you guys know it. How many of you do not know what is I and J? How many of you do
It's
not?
not there in a textbook.
What?
INJ is not there in textbook.
Acha, I and J is not there in the textbook, yeah. But still, it is a very basic part of matrices. Still, you should be knowing about it. It's a very basic part. That's why you should be knowing about it, because they may ask. I know that it is not there in the the concise book. It is not there in the concise Selena book. But still, you should be, because it is a very basic part. See what it is. Um, what is A of ij? That means, see, whenever you know that whenever we are writing the matrix, right? If there are elements like this, A, B, C, D, E, F, what is the order of this matrix? What is the order of this matrix? Yeah, that's right. 2 into 3. Yeah, perfect. That's right. Sometimes you can give your answer verbally also. Not means when I'm asking this, what is the order? At that time, you can verbally also answer. The answer is 2 into 3. Fine. So this 2 and 3 stands for, the R stands for the number of rows, and this 3 stands for the number of columns. Yeah. So similarly for A of ij, this I stands for the number of rows and J stands for the number of columns. Okay. Now if I want to write this elements in the numbering format, how I will write? This will be A11, A12, A13, A21, A22 and A23. Now what are they? See, this one, the first one stands for the row number and the second one stands for the column number. See this A12, it is the location of this element. It is there in the first row and it is there in the second column. This is the first row and this is the second column. Understood? Yeah, what does that 1, 2 stands for? Over here, if I say this 2, 3, this is there in the second row and third column. The first number stands for the row number and the second number stands for the column number. Over here, this 1, 1, 1, 2, this first number stands for I and the second number stands for J. Okay. So if they ask you over here, as per the question, if they are asking this, you need to know only this much to solve this question. For a 2 into 2 matrix, what will be the numbering? For a 2 into 2 matrix, it will be A11, A12, A21, A22. Fine. Now if you want to find what is A11, what they said, A of ij is equals to what? I minus j. Yeah, a of ij is what? I minus j. So what is I over here? 1. What is j over here? 1. So answer is 0. That means the element for the matrix A is what? This element is how much? 0. What is the next? A12. Again, I minus j. 1 minus 2. Answer is minus 1. So over here, minus 1. Again, over here, A21. Again, it will be I minus j. 2 minus 1. Answer is 1. So this is 1. Again, over here, A22. So it will be 2 minus 2. Answer is 0. So over here, it is 0. So answer is 0 minus 1, 1, 0. Where it is? Got it? It is a very simple part. Now over here, they have given this as I minus j. They can also give A of ij as something like this, 3i minus 5j. So they can give you any kind of formula. You just have to put the values and get the answers. You will get the what are the elements in the matrix. Got it? It's a very basic part. You should be knowing it. Next. The next. Please solve the question number 5. If x square, 4 and 9 are in proportion, then the value of x will be what? Let me check. Even I don't know. Let me solve this. Let me solve this, then I'll tell you what is the answer. What they have given are in proportion. That means x square upon 4 will be equal to 4 upon 9. So x square will be equal to 4 square upon 9. X square will be equal to 4 square upon 9. So x will be equal to plus minus 4 by 3. So the answer is option D. Yeah, some of you have given option as B. That is not right. Yeah. Next. What you have, x belongs to this, then the solution set of the linear inequality, that is 3x minus 2 less than 8, right? So 3x should be, this minus 2 goes on that side, it will be 10. So that is x is less than 10 by 3. The value of 10 by 3 is x is less than 3.33. Yeah. Also they have given x belongs to this only, then the solution set of the equation. Means x should be less than 3.33, x should be less than 3. That means this, and this. All these values will come. So which is the option? You have all of them. That is this. So option B is the right answer. Some people have given as D also. Chaitanya, Ruchil. Yeah. Some of you have given option as D and rest of them have given the option B. That is right. Okay. The next. Sarita deposits 400 every month in a recurring deposit. You just need to calculate the interest. It's very easy. Don't solve it. Don't solve it. It is just finding the interest. By using the formula, you'll get the answer. Okay. Yeah. Next is question number 9. Please answer question number 9. Answer it in the chat box. Daksh. Yeah. Fine. So over here, the only answer which cannot be it is this. Why? Because 1 into 6, it will have 6 elements. 6 into 1 will also have 6 elements. 3 into 2 will also have 6 elements. 3 into 3, this will have 9 elements. That's why. Yeah. Next. 10th question. Please answer. Yeah, fine. You don't have IGST, that's fine, but at least you should know which one has to be charged, IGST or CGST. That you should know. Okay, fine. Now see over here how to solve this question. I got answers from few students. Okay. Now if the remainder, that is a minus 2x plus 5x square, is divided by x minus 2, no? So this is your, if this is your f of x, if it is x minus 2, it is divided with x minus 2. So the remainder, if I want, what I will put, x equals 2 in this. So if I do f of 2, I'll get the remainder. So f of 2 is a minus 2 into 2 plus 5 into 2 square. Yeah. But the remainder is how much? 7. They have already given. So f of 2 will be equal to 7. So a minus 4 plus 4 5s are 20. So 20 minus 4 is 16 equals 7. Yeah. So 7 minus 16 is equals to A. The value of A is minus 9. Okay, the remainder is minus 9. Perfect. Everyone has given the same answer. Next. The next is 12th question. Please try to answer it. See, first of all, you should know what are significant figures. Now, see, over here, there are 4 significant figures. Over here, there are 3 significant figures. That's why this answer cannot be, because we want only 3 significant figures. Over here, there are 3 significant, and over here, this is 2 significant. That's why this also cannot be the answer. Over here, there are 4 significant. Over here, there are 2 significant. That's why this can also not be the answer. Over here, this is 3 significant, and this is also 3 significant. But how to identify the significant figures? How many of you does not know it properly? The significant figures. Identify the significant figures. How many of you does not know it properly? You can tell me, then I can explain you so that it will be clarified to you. If you don't know it.
Sir, can you explain this one once again?
Yeah, I will explain. See, first of all, how to identify how many significance a number has. First, you should know how to identify the significant figures. See, if I write 0.235, how many significant figures it has? Please give your answer in the chat box. Everyone is giving it as 3. Okay, fine. If I write it as 0.2350, then fine. See how we have to identify how many significant figures you have. See, if I write this as 0.235 kilometer, right? And if I want to convert this into meters, right? What I can write? 235 kilometer, 235 meters. I can convert, right? The zero just below, just before it does not has any significant. Significant means it does not have any meaning. Even if you convert it, you can write it as 235 meters, right? Now, if I say this is 4 significant, fine. So if I ask you 0.0024, how many significant figures this has? Yeah, it has only 2 significant figures. How is that? Because this is 0.024. It is only this is important. Why? Because see, if I say this as 0.0024 kilometer, then what I can write in terms of meter? If I want to write in terms of meter, then what I can write, it is it will be multiplied with 1000. I can write it as 2.4 meter. These numbers are getting disappeared, right? That's why they are not significant. Got it? So over here the significant figures are only 2. Fine. So similarly over here, you can see it. You can see this. This is 3.638. Yeah. So over here the number of significant figures are 4. Over here the significant figures are after point. If there is only numbers, you can count them. So that's why the significant figures are 3. So since this has 4 significant figures, so that's why this cannot be the answer. Over here, this you have 3 significant figures. This is 2 significant figure. That's why this you have over here 2 significant figures. Over here you have 4 significant. Over here, this is again 2 significant. This is 3 significant. This is also 3 significant. That's why this has to be the answer. Understood? Yes, 0.2350. No, 0.2350 does not has 4 significant. It has 3 significant figures only. Dakshant. It has only 3 significant figures because the 0 is maybe a rounded off. Now the next. See, I'll explain how. If you have A upon B is equals to C upon D, right? By invertendo, what we can say? by invertendo, what we can say, that is b upon a is equals to d upon c. You just have to reverse the numerator and denominator. That means the first answer is right. Means the first now for this question, what we can say, by invertendo, this the numerator and denominator can be reversed, right? So b upon a will be equal to d upon c. That means this first option is true. Yeah, we need which one is not true, right? Also, if they have given this, that is a upon b equals c upon d, yeah, if I do the cross multiplication over here, AD will be equal to, see, this values can also be interchanged. This can be interchanged with this and this can be taken over there. Yeah. So what we can do, we can also do it as A upon C will be equal to B upon D. This is there in the option B. That's why this is also true. Now how we can do that, because see, I'll explain you. If A upon B is equals to C upon D, I can do the cross multiplication. AD equals BC. Yeah. Again, if I bring this C on this side and D on this side, yeah, so it will be A upon C will be equal to B upon D. You're getting the same? Yes? Clear? That's why the option B is also true. Now this, how does it, is this true or not? See, what we know, that if A plus A upon B, if we know, how do we know it? That is, if A upon B is equals to C upon D, then what we know, by componendo dividendo, that is A plus B upon A minus B will be equal to C plus D upon C minus D. This we have by componendo dividendo. But in the option D, what you have, A minus B upon A plus B. Yeah. But what we can do, after doing the componendo dividendo, we can also do the invertendo on this. So after doing the invertendo, what it will be, A minus B upon A plus B is equals to C minus D upon C plus D, which is there in the option D. That's why this is also true. Now you can see this. If you have A upon B equals C upon D, this is by dividendo. So by dividendo, A minus B upon B it should be, and C minus D upon D it should be. But what you have in the denominator over here, they are different. Yeah, that's why this is the false. And that's why this is your right answer. That is, this is not true. Clear, everyone? Yeah? Okay. Fine. Next question. Now, if the quadratic equation has real roots, when the quadratic equation has real roots, when the value of discriminant is greater than 0, yeah, it will have the real roots only when the value of discriminant is greater than 0. Can any one of you tell me why the value, when the value of discriminant is greater than 0, only then the roots are real? Can any one of you tell me verbally why it is like this? Why they are real? You should know the reason also, no? You should not only mug up, right? You should know the reason. Why it is real, why it is not real. Fine. See, what is the, I will explain this question, but before before this, let me explain you one concept also. What is the formula to find the roots of a quadratic equation? That is minus b plus minus under root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. This is the formula to find the roots of a quadratic equation. Yeah. So, see, first tell me, what is the square root of 9? What is the square root of 9? 3.
Plus minus 3.
Yeah, it is plus minus 3. What is the square root of minus 9? Yeah.
Not defined.
Not what?
Not defined.
Not defined. Yeah. It is not defined, or you can say it does not exist in the real number, but it exists in the imaginary numbers that you will have in class 11. Not now. The root of this number is there, but that will be there in the class 11. The root of this number is not defined on the real line, but is there on the imaginary. The root of this is imaginary. The root of this is imaginary because the root of a negative number does not exist on the real number system. We can say it as imaginary. We can also say it as not real. Yeah. So whenever this value is greater than 0, then the value of root will exist. That's why the roots will be real. And whenever the b square minus 4ac is negative, right? So whenever it is negative, at that time what happens? This becomes an imaginary number and the whole root becomes imaginary, or we can say the whole root becomes not real. But when the roots are equal, what is the condition? When the roots are equal,
Discriminant should be 0, equal to
why?
0.
Why again? Yeah, the discriminant should be equal to the roots are real. When the roots are real, the value of the discriminant is 0. Fine. But how? How the roots are equal? But the reason is, see, this is what, if you get the answer, if suppose if you are getting b square minus 4ac as 9, right? Then the root of 9 will be 3. And so on. If you solve it, you will get two values. Once you have to add and once you have to subtract, you'll get two values, right? But the value of this is 0. Then what happens? The root will be only this. There will be no other root. That's why both the roots will be equal. This is the reason. Are you getting it? Why the roots are real, why the roots are imaginary, and why the roots are equal? You should be knowing it, because if you forget in the exam, you should be recollecting it by using this concept. When the roots are real, when the roots are imaginary, and when the roots are equal. Clear? Next. Yeah, let's solve this question first. Now what they said, in the quadratic equation, this has real roots, and the value of p will be. Since they have real roots, that means the discriminant value should be greater than 0. Yeah. Over here, the value of b is minus 4 square minus 4, and the value of a is 1, and the value of c is 2p. Should be greater than 0. Minus 4 whole square will be 16. Minus 8p should be greater than 0. So if 8p goes on this side, 16 greater than 8p, dividing 2 on both the sides, 2 greater than p. The value of p should be less than 2. The value of p should be less than 2. Understood? Is it clear? Over here, what you have the set p as, that is 7x minus 4 greater than 5x plus 2, where x belongs to natural numbers. Fine. So you can take this 5x on this side, 7x minus 5x greater than 2 plus 4. So that is 2x greater than 2 plus 4, that is 6. So x should be greater than 3. Yeah, x should be greater than 3, and x belongs to natural numbers. So therefore, the set P will have in the roster form, it will be what? 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on up to infinity. Yeah, this will be your set P. Next, this set, what it has? What it has, that is x minus 19 greater than or equals 1 minus 3x. Yeah. So if this 3x goes on this side, this will be 4x greater than 1 plus 19, that is 20. So x should be greater than or equal to 50. Oh, sorry. X should be greater than or equal to 4 5s are 20, no? So it will be 5. So your solution set, the the set in the roster form for Q will start from 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on up to infinity. Yeah. So which is the common element? What they said? Then the set P intersection Q contains what will be the common between both of them? That is, 4 is not common, but 5 is common between both of them. 5, 6, 7, all of them are common. So you have over here only 5. So this will be your answer. Clear? Yeah. The next question.
So we will substitute the numbers given in the option.
Okay.
If it comes 0,
Any
then
other option?
We have to equate both of them side by side.
Side by side, if you equate both of them. No. How we can equate both of them? You cannot equate both of them. Yeah, means these both are equal to 0. Then even if you equate, what do you get? Yeah, you can equate both of them side by side. Yeah, that is x square minus 7x plus 10 is equals to x square minus 10x plus 16. So this x square gets cancelled. So this minus 10x minus 7x will be equal to 16 minus 10. So that is 3x. No, 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 no. You cannot. If they have equal roots, no. Don't equate. You cannot. You either what you can do is you can solve both the quadratic equation. Yeah, you can solve because if you equate both of them, you will get the point of intersection of both the quadratic equation. That they are not the roots. They are not the roots. They are the point of intersection of both the curves. If you equate both of them. So to do it, either you can do it as substitute minus 2 in this if you get 0 and minus 2 in this also. If you get 0, then it is fine. But the problem is it will be a lengthy. What you can do is you can solve both the quadratic equation. That will be short for you. See what you can do. X square minus 7x plus 10 equals 0. The sum and product required are, sum required is minus 7, product required is 10. So the two numbers are 2 and 5. Sum is minus 7, no? So minus 2 and minus 5. So the roots are x minus 2 and x minus 5. Yeah, the roots it will be equal to 0. So the roots will be 2 and 5. Over here, the other one you have, that is x square minus 10x plus 16. So the sum and product required. Sum required is minus 10, product required is 16. Which are the two numbers? 2 and 8. Both of them should be in minus. So answer is x minus 2 and x minus 8 will be equal to 0. So the two roots are 2 and 8. So what we can see, the two roots common are 2. So the answer for this will be 2. Got it? Clear? Solving the quadratic equation will be short as compared to putting the values in the equation. Yeah, since it's a MCQ and it is a time-based question paper, so you should be knowing which should be the fastest method. Yeah. Next. What did you have? Mr. Thus gets 6455 at the end of 1 year. Now this 6455 is what your maturity value. Right? 6455. At the rate of 14%, that means that your rate of interest is 14%. In a recurring deposit account, his monthly installment was. That means you need to find what is the value of P. Right? What is the formula for maturity value? That is P into N plus P into N plus 1 into R upon 100 into 12 into 2. My formula is right? This interest formula is right? Right, no? Yeah, fine. Now, what you need to do, you have to find the value of P, right? What we can do, we can take P as common. So maturity value is 6455 equals, you can take P as common. So it will be N plus N into N plus 1 into R upon 100 into 12 into 2. Yeah. So 6455 equals P into, the value of N is how much? How many years? At the end of 1 year, that means the value of N is
12.
12. So 12 plus 12 into 13, the value of rate of interest was 14 upon 100 into 12 into 2. Yeah. So this 12 and 12 will get cancelled. This 2 7 2 sevens are 2 50s are. That's it. So what you get? 6455 equals P into 12 plus 13 into 7 is how much?
91.
91. Okay. 91 upon 2 into 50, that is again 100. Yeah. So 6455 will be equal to P into this 1291 upon 100. Yeah, 100 into 12, that is 1200 plus 91. So this goes on this side. So the value of P will be 6455 into 100 upon 1291. This goes 2, 3, 11 ones are 11, 1, 11 ones are 11. No, it does not go. So this goes in which table? 2 plus 9 is 10, 11, 12. It goes in the table of 3. So no, it does not go. 2 plus 9 is 11, 12, 13. It is.
Sir, 1291 into 5 is equal to 6455.
Okay, fine. So it is 5. So the value of P is 500. Yeah. So the value of P is 500. Got it? Clear? Fine. So Dikshant, Chaitanya, Ruchil, Daksh has given the answer. Yeah. Of this, and all of you were right. Next. Yeah, perfect. Now it is right. Dikshant. Okay, the answer should be C. The answer of this is C. Anyone over here want me to solve? Please raise your hands. Then I will solve it. Anyone over here want me to solve this question? Then please raise your hand. Only then I'll solve. Okay, okay, Dikshant, fine. Now the next problem. Okay, Shruti. We'll check. We'll have to check. If you want me to solve, then please you can also. Okay, Daksh is saying to solve. Okay, fine. See over here, since it is given that x square minus 1 is a factor of this, you can write it as minus x cube minus 5x square plus x plus 5. I have not done anything. I've just written first cube, then square, then x, then 5 constant. Okay, since it is given x square minus 1 is a factor of this, then what we can say, if x square minus 1 is a factor, you can write it as x square minus 1 square. If I expand this, it will be x minus 1 and x plus 1. That means x minus 1 and x plus 1 both are factors of this. So you can take any one of this and do the polynomial division. That is x minus 1 you can take. You can also take x plus 1 and do the polynomial division. Minus x cube minus 5x square plus x plus 5. Okay. After this, now since you need minus x cube, what you have to multiply? You have to multiply with minus x square. Yeah. So minus x square into x is minus x cube. Minus x square into minus x is plus x square. If you subtract, this will get cancelled. This will be minus 6x square plus x plus 5. Now since you need minus 6x square, you have to multiply with minus 6x. You get minus 6x square. Minus 6x into minus 1 is plus 6x. Yeah. So after this, what you get? This gets cancelled. This will be minus 5x plus 5. Now you need minus 5x. You have to multiply with minus 5. Minus 5 into x is minus 5x. Minus 5 into minus 1 is plus 5. If you subtract, both of them will get cancelled. The answer is remainder is 0. So what you get? The other factor is the quotient. That means what? X minus 1 into minus x square minus 6x minus 5 will be equal to this will be equal to whatever value you have over here, that is minus x cube minus 5x square plus x plus 5. Yeah, so this into this is equals to this. That means this will have the other two roots. So what we can say, to find the other roots, what we will do, we'll have to equate this is equals to 0, because this is equals to 0, no, ultimately. Yeah, so this into this should also be equal to 0. This is equals to 0, right? So this is also equals to 0. So minus x square minus 6x minus 5 will be equated with 0. If you multiply with minus throughout, what you get? X square plus 6x plus 5 is equals to 0. Now if you solve this, the sum and product required are, the sum required is 6, product required is 5. 2, 5 and 1 are the numbers. You need it as 5 into 1 is 5. Yeah, 5 and 1 only. So what you get? X plus 5 and x plus 1 equals 0. The other factors which you get is x equals minus 5 or x equals minus 2, minus 1. So x equals minus 1 over here, x equals plus 1 from this, and the other factor is x equals minus 5. Means x minus 5 it is. X minus 5 equals to 0. The other factor is, so it will be, sorry, x plus 5 it is. Yeah, x equals minus 5. So x plus 5 is the other factor. Yeah, so where it is? Over here. It can be taken as in minus because we have multiplied with minus, no? Over here. You can take it in minus also, no problem. Minus of x plus 5. So this will be the answer. Okay. Shruti, you have given the answer, but that was not right. Okay. Only you had given this, but it's fine. Next. Fine. See over here, I'll solve it. John's present age is x. Okay. John's present age is x. 2 years ago, Jacob's age was 3 times the square of the John's age. Okay, John's present age is x. So they are talking about 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, John's age will be 2 years ago. John's age will be how much? X minus 2. And what they are saying, 2 years ago, Jacob's age was. Now there is another person, Jacob. Let's say Jacob's age is y. Jacob's age was 3 times the square of John's age. Now John's age is x minus 2. The square of John's age. So this will be the Jacob's age. Yeah. So the 2 years ago, Jacob's age was 3 into x minus 2 whole square. Yes, this is the right answer. So how many of you have given? Yeah. The next. Now what they are asking, in 3 years time, Jacob's age will be what? Please answer in the chat box. Fine, I will solve it. Now 2 years ago, John's age was this, right? Jacob's age was this. What was that? 3 into x minus 2 whole square. Yeah. So what will be his current age? Jacob's current age will be what? This was 2 years ago. So his current age will be y. His current age will be 3 into x minus 2 whole square plus 2, right? 2 years after, you have to add 2 because that was 2 years ago. Now in 2 years, it will be plus 2. Now what they said, what will be Jacob's age in 3 years time, right? So Jacob's age after 3 years, in 3 years time, will be whatever is this, add 3 into it. So what you get? 3 into x minus 2 whole square plus 5. Got it? Understood or not? Yeah. So the answer for this will be this. Fine. There was some more thing related to this. Now in 3 years time, John's age is 1/4 of the Jacob's age. Then the quadratic equation formed is. The next continued question to this, what they have given. In 3 years time, John's age is 1/4 of Jacob's age. What was John's age initially? X. So in 3 years time, what will be his age? X plus 3. This will be John's age. John's age is 1/4 of Jacob's age. What is his age in 3 years time? This. So 1/4 of 3 into x minus 2 whole square plus 5. Yeah, now you have to solve this. You will get the quadratic equation. If you take 4 on this side, 4 into x plus 3 will be equal to 3 into x square minus 4x plus 4 plus 5. So that is 4x plus 12 is equals to 3x square minus 12x plus 12 plus 5. So 3x square minus 12x minus 4x will be minus 16x. 12 and 12 can be cancelled. plus 5 is equals to 0. So 3x square minus 16x plus 5. So this would be the answer. Got it? After that, there is one more question just after it. Present age of John and Jacob is. What they said? Present age. To find the present age, what we will have to do? We'll have to solve this quadratic equation. Whatever the value of x you will get, that will be the present age. Got it? Since we are at the end of time, you can solve this and get the answer. Okay, I'll be sending you this PDF anyway. Whatever we have solved, you will get the answers. Okay, chalo then, we are done for over here for today. How was the session? This was the first session with me. How was it? Good? Okay, fine. Fine then. Chalo then, bye bye everyone. Have a good day. Good night.